Ottawa Senator fans, me, your new Senior Vice President of Player Development. His name is Pierre McGuire. Okay, Pierre McGuire. He is the new Senior Vice President of Player Development. In case that sounds familiar to you guys, he is a broadcaster. That is true. The former NBC hockey analyst. He ran with the network ending this month after 15 years. He will work closely with the general manager, Pierre Dorion, and team owner Eugene Melnyk. So yeah, I mean, this is some pretty interesting things. A broadcaster, a very acclaimed one in the hockey business at that, is going to be joining the Ottawa Senators. You know what this reminds me of before I continue? This reminds me of when Mike Mayock decided to go join the Las Vegas Raiders. You know, Mike Mayock was known as that draft guy for the NFL. And then he was like, you know what? We see the Las Vegas Raiders, we're shifting. And then John Gruden ended up shifting with him too. So that's what it kind of reminds me of. I do have a quote right here from Melnyk. He said, and I quote, "On behalf of the entire Senators organization, I would like to welcome Pierre McGuire back to Ottawa. We are excited to add Pierre to our hockey management group. His experience will be instrumental as we continue to build an elite team. Pierre's knowledge of the game and its players is highly regarded, and I am confident that he will positively assist our team as it progresses to the next level." And a little bit on McGuire. He started in the NHL as a scout with the Pittsburgh Penguins in 1990. He was an assistant coach in 1991 and 1992 under Scotty Bowman when the Penguins won the Stanley Cup. McGuire ended up moving to the Hartford Whalers as an assistant coach, eventually adding assistant GM and head coaching duties to his resume. He led Hartford's bench to the 1993-1994 23-37-7 as a youngest head coach in the league at 32. And after his stint with Hartford, he was a scout for the Senators, briefly serving as assistant head coach in 1995 and 1996. And he is best known for his work as a TV hockey analyst, first with TSN in Canada and then with NBC when the network acquired the NHL US broadcasting rights deal in 2005-2006. And again, I got to be honest with you, Nate. He's done a lot. He's done a lot in NBC since he's joined. You know, he is a pioneer in NBC's Inside the Glass color commentary model, as NBC built a glass box between the benches to allow the analysts to have an ice-level view of action and better access to coaches and players. And while working for NBC, McGuire sought to become a general manager in the NHL. He interviewed with the Montreal Canadiens, the Penguins, the Minnesota Wild, and the Tampa Bay Lightning for their vacancies, among others. And McGuire was rumored to be a contender for the Senators GM job back in 2011. So he's had a very extensive history with the Ottawa Senators, you know, and now, I mean, he's going to become the Senior Vice President of Player Development. So I'll start off first, Nate, but before I do, the source-based article is Greg Wyshynski, ESPN. So let me start off with this first. First of all, congratulations to Pierre McGuire on becoming the new Senior Vice President of Player Development. I do think this will work, Nate. I really do think this is going to work. Okay, see, what I like about Pierre McGuire is anything in hockey, he's done it. You know, like anything in hockey, he has done it. Okay. And I mean, he's been in the hockey world for a very, very long time. Started his career in 1990. You know, became one of the youngest head coaches in the league at one point at age 32. You know, he's been a scout. He's been an assistant GM. He's been a head coach. You know, he's done all these things. And again, overall, for most of his career, like especially the past decade and a half, he has been a commentator. He has been a commentator for a decade and a half. And overall, Nate, he's been a very good one at that too. And now he has joined the Ottawa Senators front office. Now, again, like I said, this reminds me of when Mike Mayock ended up joining the Las Vegas Raiders, because Mike Mayock, he was a very good draft analyst. You know, he was a very good draft analyst. And the Las Vegas Raiders ended up hiring him to help out with their draft process. And I'm going to be honest, he's done a very, very good job. You know, I mean, since he's there, he's got Henry Ruggs. I think he had Jonathan Abrams. You know, he's got Hunter Renfroe is a decent piece. Overall, he's been doing a lot of good things with the Las Vegas Raiders as far as drafting. Now, going back to Pierre McGuire, it's the same thing, you know, and I like how he's had all these different views on the game. You know, he's had the view as a commentator, you know, we are watching it from a non-biased standpoint, because as a commentator, you have to be non-biased, you know. As a commentator, even though I'm a Vikings fan, or I'll even use this as an example, even though I'm a Blue Jackets fan, I can't be like, when the Columbus Blue Jackets score, I can't be like, let's go. Or I can't be like, no, like I can't do that because I'm a color comment. I have to be non-biased, you know? So he's had so many views, whether it was a head coach, a general manager, an assistant coach, a scout, a commentator. He's had so many views of the game that I really do think it is going to help. And he has a Stanley Cup through his resume. He was part of that Pittsburgh Penguins team back when like Mario Lemieux was there and they were crushing it, you know? So overall, Nate, I mean, I think this is a very, very good hiring for the Ottawa Senators. He's had a brief history with them. It says right here in this article, it says that he at one point he was a scout for the Senators, and he briefly served as an assistant head coach in 1995 and 1996. So even though his history with the Ottawa Senators wasn't long, he still has a little bit of a history with them. And he was a candidate for that GM job back in 2011. Did he end up getting it? No, but overall, again, overall when I really look at it though, he has a very, very lengthy history with the Ottawa Senators. Now he is going to be part of that. He's going to be the senior vice president of player development. You know, I wish him the absolute best of luck. I can really definitely see this working out for the Ottawa Senators, you know, but it's all about making the right moves. The Ottawa Senators are not the greatest team right now. You know, they're obviously not at the best they can be. So overall, I feel like he has to get the Ottawa Senators to where he feels like they need to be, you know, and that's something that he's going to have to do. Hopefully all his experience in the NHL definitely helps this Ottawa Senators team. Hopefully, you know, he makes the right moves. So with that being said, you know, I wish Pierre McGuire and the Ottawa Senators the best of luck, Nate, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, first of all, congratulations to Pierre McGuire on getting the job with the Ottawa Senators. Obviously, he's very well qualified for the job. Like you mentioned, you know, he was with the Pittsburgh Penguins for a while. He was a scout there. He was a head coach. He was a GM. He was all of that, you know. So obviously he's had experience. And one could argue, you know, maybe it's not the best fit because he's from a different era of the sport. You could think whatever you want, you know. But obviously he's most known for being an NBC analysis, which by the way, you know, NBC is being isn't gonna be the leading broadcaster for the NBC. That's gonna go to ESPN, which isn't surprising because ESPN's pretty much taking over everything at this point. But I looked at it and yeah, this could definitely work. It's just the one thing, and I talked about this about with younger coaches about how they're player people. Like I mentioned, like how why Alex Cora worked so well as a manager despite his little antics in Houston and a little bit with the Red Sox back in 2018. You know, despite all of that, you look at Alex Cora, and he fits so well because not only is he such a young coach, but he relates to a lot of the players because he comes from that era of the sport. You know, he was a recent player. You know, he was with the Red Sox organization. You know what I mean? So that works because he's familiar with the organization. He's familiar with the players because he's a players person, you know? That's why I love that so much. And that's my only thing with Pierre McGuire. You know, is he going to be able to connect with the players to that level? And I'm sure he will. You know, it's not a shot at older executives or coaches or anything like that. Because I definitely do know some older coaches that are player people. You know, there are definitely those coaches out there and executives. You know, that would just be my only thing. But other than that, Mario, the resume's there. And like you said, one thing I love about it too is that he's been on NBC, which means that he has to be unbiased most of the time, if not all the time. You know, especially when you're working for NBC, because usually NBC does like league-wide games. So most of the time, you're announcing a team that you probably didn't even root for as a kid. You know what I mean? So I do like that as well. He's unbiased, so he's willing to give it to you straight without a biased point of view. I do like that. I love that. I absolutely do. So overall, Mario, I absolutely agree. I do think this will definitely work. As for the Ottawa Senators, you know, I hope they take this to their advantage, you know, because the Ottawa Senators haven't really been a great team the last few years. So hopefully they can take that to their advantage and get back over that hump and make it back to the playoffs. So with that being said, you know, best of luck to Pierre McGuire and best of luck to the Ottawa Senators, and we'll see what it takes us moving forward.